Well, good morning. Good, beautiful Wednesday morning. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and we will be glad in it. I'm so glad that you've been able to join me this morning for just a few minutes, a few verses of Scripture that we're going to look at that can point us toward a Bible-believing church on Sunday morning, that we will have ourselves set for that during this Christmas season, and that we will return and be among fellow believers where we can be a blessing and they can be a blessing to us. And things like that happen in church, and that's the way the church is supposed to work. That we both are a blessing to others and they are a blessing to us. Today we're going to talk out of John chapter 5, verses 5 through 8. John chapter 5, verses 5 through 8. Let's look at it together. It says, "Now a certain man was there who had an infirmity 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and knew that he already had been in that condition a long time, he said to him, 'Do you want to be made well?' The sick man answered him, 'Sir, I have no man to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up. But while I am coming, another steps down before me.' Jesus said to him, 'Rise, take up your bed and walk.'" And of course, we know that in the verse that follows, in verse 9 there, he immediately took up his bed, was made well, and that he walked. A man who had had an infirmity for 38 years, in the blink of an eye, was made well by Jesus. But in these verses, there is an interesting question that has left many theologians either scratching their head and wondering what it all meant, or they went with what they thought it meant and tried to convince everybody else that that's what it meant. But it is a very interesting verse, and it's a very interesting question to each and every one of us. We find it there in verse 6. See, Jesus knew he had been there 38 years. He had been in that condition for a very long time. And then Jesus says something to him that's very interesting. He says, "Do you want to be made well?" And when you look at the Greek there, you look at the Greek version of this, what that has the idea of is, do you desire, do you truly wish to be made well? Are you looking for healing? And the man doesn't really give a good answer, does he? At least he doesn't say yes, because that's sort of what we would expect. At least that's what I would expect. But the man gives a roundabout answer. He says, "Sir, I have no man to put me in the pool when the water is stirred up." See, the belief was that an angel came down and that stirred up the water, and the first one into the water, the one that took advantage and ran over the top of everybody else to get there first, was the one who was made well. But Jesus teaches us a very valuable lesson here today. He teaches us a very valuable lesson in this. And I think there are several valuable lessons here. First, do you want, do you wish, do you desire to be made well? That's a valid question for all of us. Sometimes, when you are married or in a close friendship with someone, they come and they complain to you, they talk to you, and often one of the questions I'll ask is, are you looking for a solution, or are you just asking to talk about the situation? Because it's a difference there, right? There is a difference. If the person is really looking for ideas of ways that the solution can come and we can brainstorm together, that's different than if what the person wants is to just tell me what they experienced and have a listening ear. Both are okay. Jesus here is asking the man, do you wish to be made well? The man gives an answer, And what I hear in that answer is desperation. What I hear in that answer is a man who may have been thinking to himself, I can't even get to the water. People run over me to get there. They push me out of the way so that I don't get there in time. And for 38 years, I've been trying. Shouldn't be lost on us that Jesus doesn't need a yes or no answer here. He hears the man's heart. He hears the man's heart, and what he hears in the man's heart is a desperation for healing. And the man gives that answer, and Jesus says, rise, take up your bed, you're made well. And Jesus asks us the same thing. When we come to Him, sometimes we come to Him in prayer, and we are looking for the answer we're looking for. We're looking for a new job. We're looking for a new friend. We're looking for the children to act better. We're looking for a bigger house. We're looking for some answer. And Jesus says, are you looking for your answer? Or are you looking for the answer? And we have to be very careful when we're praying. I'm not sure very careful is the right terminology there, but we certainly have to be aware that as we are praying, Jesus is going to give us His answer in His time. And we need to trust Him that He is going to give us His answer in His time, and it is going to be the right answer. That right answer that is going to lead us to our purpose. Now, does that mean that He's going to do it in 38 seconds? Well, no, that doesn't necessarily mean that. Jesus may put us in trials and tribulations and persecutions and adversities that test us and grow our faith. And we've been talking about that in services for the last 3 Sundays, and we're going to talk about it again this coming Sunday, that we are made perfect through trial and tribulation. We are made ready for the purpose that Jesus has for us through trial and tribulation. And if we could ever get our mind wrapped around that, and we could begin to view every adversity, every trial, every tribulation as a reason to be thankful, because we know that that is leading us to a perfection and a completeness in Jesus. It is pointing us toward our doorway of purpose. I think that we would deal with things much more effectively. I know I would. I won't speak for you. But here Jesus asks a very revealing question. It's a question that I invite you to think about this week. Do you wish to be made well? Do you honestly desire to be made well? Are you just asking for His answer, or are you asking to spiritually be changed, for things to align with His will and His purpose and truly be made well, whatever form that takes? Whether we remain physically in bad health, we can still be spiritually made well. Maybe we are mentally in a bad place. We can still be spiritually made well. And that needs to be our prayer to Jesus this Christmas season, and indeed always. Please know that I am praying for you. I'm praying for the people in Kentucky and Tennessee and Arkansas, particularly Kentucky, where there was such devastation from the tornadoes. I'm praying for our nation. I'm praying for this world. And I know you're praying for me. Be well this week. Align your sights to Christmas. Align your sights to the upcoming celebration. If you don't have someplace else to be on December the 19th at 6 p.m., I invite you to be here at this church in Frogsboro, North Carolina, where we will have our Christmas program, and then we will have refreshments that follow. I hope you have a great day today. I hope you have a great rest of the week, and I hope to see you on December 19th.